What happens when a prime team in National League history, who has the most World Series by a National League team, chokes? Lots of chokes can happen to teams. Imagine it's the 90s, a time where baseball is trying to struggle getting popularity back after a major strike. What do you do? Well, you fight it out, and hopefully people will know that baseball is back and all that. But imagine a team had choked a 3-1 series lead in the 90s, and then 25 years later did the same crap to the same team. As weird as it sounds, it's weird. But anyway, and in the words of Jack Buck, and that's a winner until you're not a winner. You've got Jeff Diamond, you've got one man, you've got a hat, a bat, and that's definitely not all. You got the bleachers, got it from spring to fall, you got a dog, a drink, and that umpire's call. What do you want? Let's play what if. Okay, okay, Cutter, do some what ifs. Okay, okay, Cutter, do some what ifs. So the St. Louis Cardinals are one of the best, if not the best, National League teams of all time. They've won 11 World Series championships as a member, as a team, the most by any National League team. That pales in comparison to the 27 that the New York Yankees have won. It's hard to believe that the Cardinals franchise has gone through massive ups and massive downs and some great players from the past. When you look at the Cardinals, you look at the great guys. Heck, Joe Torre was once a great Cardinals catcher who was a MVP candidate. At first base, you had Albert Pujols for a while, crushing home runs and being close to maybe winning both the Rookie of the Year and MVP in that same season, unless your name was Barry Bonds, who ruined it for you. Second base, you have Rogers Hornsby, one of the best hitting players of all time. Later in his career, he became a dickwad. At third base, you had Scott Rowland and a few other good third basemen like Ken Boyer. Shortstop, you had the Wizard of Oz, Ozzie Smith, doing the backflips while you got to the playing field. And you have an outfield of Stan the Man Musial, Ito's Country Slaughter, and maybe, just maybe, one of the best speed demons before personal problems ruined him, Vince Coleman. The Cardinals had some great pitching. Bob Gibson, Dizzy Dean, John Tudor, Mark Cooper. You got a good team. So yeah, the Cardinals have had some great ups and downs in their careers, in their team and all that. The Cardinals would be battling the Yankees in the 1960s for a couple of World Series. And in 1964, shocked the Yankees so much so that the Yankees fired Ralph Houk. And oddly enough, the Cardinals manager Johnny Keane would move on to the Yankees. Talk about your weird twist and turn. What a twist! The Cardinals were coming along. In the 80s, they were decent. 1981, they were supposed to be the best team in the NL East. But a stupid little thing called a split season ruined them for it because the strike happened in the middle of the season. They had two halves. Whoever won the halves would face each other in a divisional series, the precursor to the LDS we all know and kind of hate nowadays. But the fact of the matter is that the Cardinals were the best team in the NL East, and they were pissed. But hey, you could be the Cincinnati Reds. They were the best team in the National League, and they didn't even get in because they didn't win any of the halves. But unlike the Reds, the Cardinals bounced back from that slight and did well. They won the 1982 World Series. 1985, they should have won the World Series. We know about Dankinger. We know about Game 7, and they basically just gave up and all that. But consider this. The Cardinals' batting average was pathetic, 195. Can you believe that? And second of all, if Vince Coleman had not been hurt during the NLCS by that automatic tart machine, how good would the Cardinals have been? Vince Coleman would have definitely been the X factor and given the Cardinals the World Series. Heck, they would not even need it to choke that 3-1 series lead in 1985. So on the topic of 3-1, we talked about the 1996 Cardinals and the fact that they choked the 3-1 series lead. Heck, in 2021, they had a chance to put away the Atlanta Braves in the playoffs, but they choked the 3-1 series lead to them. And it was like history just repeats itself. You know what they say. Those who don't learn from their history are doomed to repeat it. So let's take a look at the 1996 Cardinals. So let's talk about the 1996 St. Louis Cardinals. It was actually shocking that the Cardinals got a new manager. His name, Tony La Russa, who would be famous for helping Oakland in their mini dynasty of the late 80s, early 90s. And there was a ownership change. Anheuser-Busch had owned the team for many years. Heck, they had like Busch Stadium was named after them, but they decided to sell to William DeWitt Jr., whose father actually owned the St. Louis Browns, if you can believe it. So the Cardinals won 88 games, and somehow that was good enough to win the division. I've seen plenty of teams win 90 or 95 games and not win their division. 1995 had some bad news for St. Louis, but then the offseason happened. Ron Gant came over from Atlanta, which was shocking. Andy Bennis, a pretty good, serviceable pitcher, went to St. Louis. Willie McGee went back to St. Louis. He had a little bit of a run with the Cardinals in the 80s. Remember, he's the guy who single-handedly screwed over the Brewers in that game 3 or 4 in 1982. Todd Stonemeyer was traded from Oakland to St. Louis, former Blue Jay icon of the World Series era, for 4 people. Jay Wojtaszek being the only good guy. Dennis Eckersley went from Oakland to St. Louis, so practically La Russa was trying to get some former Oakland players. So Eckersley was traded to St. Louis for Steve Montgomery, which was shocking. I mean, Eckersley leaving Oakland after all he gave them? Yikes. And Gary Gaetti became a Cardinal. So then in 1996, it was known that Ozzie Smith was going to retire. This would be his last season in the major leagues, and Ozzie would be doing something that most stars never did in the 90s, play for just one team. And that was it. Anyway, Ozzie would have competition from Royce Clayton. But, they shared time at shortstop and both had good season. So the Cardinals won 88 games. Houston was the only team above 500 other than them with six back with 82. So the Cardinals enjoyed a very good 17-9 September clip to get them to win the division. They had Luis Elizalde, Gary Gaetti, Ron Gant, Ray Langford, John Mabry, Willie McGee, Pat Borders. Pat Borders played for the Cardinals? Ozzie Smith and Todd Stonemeyer as opening 8 starters. Borders and Stonemeyer are part of the 92 and 93 Blue Jays. Pitching wise, you had the Bennett's boys, Alan and Andy, Eckersley, Rick Honeycutt, former A, TJ Matthews, future A, alongside Eric Ludwig in the Mark McGwire trade the next season. Mike Morgan, who seemed to play on so many teams it hurts, Donovan Osborne, and of course Stonemeyer. Pat Borders would share catching with Tom Pagnozzi and a young Mike DeFleece, who would be better known as a Tampa Ray Ray. Infielders, Luis Elizalde, David Bell, he played for that. Royce Clayton, major move. Gary Gaetti, Mike Gallego, John Mabry, Ozzie Smith, and a young Dimitri Young. Ron Gant, Brian Jordan, Ray Langford, Willie McGee were your outfielders. So you had a very good lineup like Pagnozzi, Mabry, Alisea, Clayton, Gaetti, Gant, Langford, and Jordan. With Ozzie Smith playing 82 games, Willie McGee 123 off the bench, if you will. The pitching was so-so. Andy Bennis won 18 games. Stoudemire, Osborne, and Allen with 13, and they couldn't find a good starter and all that. Danny Jackson came through. Mark Petkovsik, 11-2 in the bullpen. That's amazing. Eckersley with 30 saves. So the 1996 NLDS, the Cardinals would sweep the San Diego Padres. This was San Diego's first postseason berth since 1984 when they went to the World Series. So the Cardinals looked confident. In game one of the LCS against the Braves, they lost 4-2 as Smoltz beats Pekovic with Wohlers picking up the save. Game two in Atlanta, St. Louis crushed Atlanta 8-3 as Stoudemire beat Maddox. You don't beat Greg Maddox in Atlanta. You just don't. Game three at Busch Stadium saw a 3-2 narrow win for St. Louis as Osborne beat Glavine, Eckersley picked up the save. Ron Gant went deep twice. Game four saw St. Louis win 4-3. Eckersley beat McMichael as the Braves choked a 3-0 game lead in that game. Brian Jordan with a home run. Then the wheels fell off. Game five, Atlanta won 14-0 as John Smoltz remembered who the hell he was, with Fred McGriff and Javi Lopez going tater-tot. Game six saw Atlanta win a narrow one 3-1 as Alan Bennis fell to Greg Maddox. Morris the save. And then game seven was a 15-0 Atlanta win. Glavine beat Osborne as Lopez, Andre Jones, and McGriff went deep, and the Braves remembered who the fuck they were. So when you look at the stats, and you look at how many runs were in the final three games, the composite, Atlanta 32, St. Louis 1. Can you imagine? Choking a 3-1 series lead is bad enough, but you lose the last three games by a freaking combined score of 32-1. Really? Just couldn't do it, huh? What the hell happened? What was the TSN turning point? I don't get it. But yeah, the Cardinals in 2021 had some tough seasons and all that. I do believe. Yeah, 2021. Was it 2021? If I was 2021 when the Cardinals choked against the Braves, I think it was 2020, wasn't it? Ah, hockey pucks, I made a mistake. But nevertheless, we're going to talk about the 1996 St. Louis Cardinals and see if they get redemption. So in this, what if the Cardinals actually didn't choke the 3-1 series lead against the Braves? What if they won at least one of the games, 5, 6, or 7, and would have to take on the New York Yankees, who won the AL? Well, that's a good question. So anyway, remembering who the Yankees put as starters in 1986 the World Series in order was hard. But anyway, the Cardinals with their 88 wins go through the Yankees 92 wins as Andy Bennis becomes the battles Andy Pettit, Andy Dandy on that one. Game one sees the Cardinals get choked 9-3. Thanks to 6 runs in the third inning. Darryl Strawberry hits a ground rule double to score Gerald Williams. Joe Girardi hits a single to score Strawberry. Wade Boggs hits a 2-run double to score Girardi and Jeter. Duncan hits an RBI single to score Wade Boggs. And then Jeff Parrott, former Expo, came in to pitch. Paul O'Neill grounds into a double play and scores a run, which is funny that they scored 5 runs without scoring an out. Brian Jordan hits a sac fly and Ron Gant scores. Ron Gant went deep in the 6th off Pettit to make it 6-2, but the Yankees, after TJ Matthews comes in, gives up a home run to Mario Duncan. Darryl Strawberry's RBI single to score O'Neill, and Joe Girardi gets a sac fly. The Cardinals do score 1 run in the 8th, but pretty much nothing else happens. As Pettit goes 7 2/3, as Mark Hedden became the second pitcher, and the Cardinals went with Bennis, Parrott. Parrott did well, 3 innings without giving up a hit. Well, Matthews and Danny Jackson just not there. So game 2 sees Donovan Osborne go toe-to-toe with Jimmy Key, just like Jimmy Key was the game 2 starter last in real life. Game 2 sees the Yankees went 8-2 as nothing happened. The Yankees started out fast. Mario Duncan hit an RBI single, and after Paul O'Neill popped out, Tino Martinez goes deep, scoring Boggs and Duncan ahead of him. So the Yankees were up 4-0. And then Bernie Williams with a 2 RBI single to put Jeff Parrott to the mounds. Joe Williams hit a RBI double to make it 7-0. John Mabry in the fourth did score a run for the Cardinals, and then Luis Elizalde grounded out. But who cares? At 7-2, Derek Jeter hit an RBI single to make it 8-2. He went 7. Mo Rivera went 2 innings. Now let's not forget that Mo Rivera in '96 was not the closer. That was Wetland's job. And the Cardinals went with Osborne, Parrott, Jackson, and Petkosik. Danny Jackson really went far. And he was part of the '93 Phillies. So game 3 went back to Toronto, St. Louis, as Todd Stoudemire would take on David Cone. And David Cone would play started game 3 in real life. As the Yankees would score a run, it's Duncan hit an RBI single, big 1-0. Yeah, for storage space. Alcea hit a ground ball single to tie the game, and then Ron Gant hit an RBI double to score Alcea 2-1. High sports, am I right? Anyway, Gaetti made an RBI single to make it 3-1. And that was it. Eckersley came in for the save, got Duncan, Ruben Rivera, and Tino Martinez. Ruben Rivera? Oh, he was the center field. I guess he came in after O'Neill. Wonder why. Ruben Rivera. Oh, he's ejected for drawing with the umpire. Stoudemire with the win. Matthews pitched the 8th. Eckersley the save. David Cone went 7. Rivera pitched the other inning. So in game 4, it was Kenny Rogers in real life, and the Cardinals have to go with Alan Benes. And the Yankees crushed the Cardinals 7-2. Bernie Williams RBI double to score Jeter. Cardinals scored twice in the second. Gaetti hit a double to score Langford, and Mabry hit a double to score Gaetti. Paul O'Neill makes it 2-2. And then O'Neill went tater tot in the 6th, 3-2. And then Bennett booted a routine grounder so that Bernie Williams reached to score Kenny Rogers. As the pitcher had to hit in the National League Park. Sacrifice fly by Mo Duncan made Matthews come into pitch. And then Jeter goes tater tot. Rick Honeycutt came into pitch and gave up an RBI single to Tino Martinez. Mo Rivera came into pitch because, well, why not? Bases were loaded, but Pagnozzi struck out and Mark Sweeney grounded out, so he got out of the mess. Allen went 6 2/3, didn't do so well. Matthews and Honeycutt, Rogers and Rivera. So at 3-1, it's back to the top of the order. It's time for the Battle of the Andes. Will it end here? The answer is yes, it does. 8-7. A close one, but the Yankees catchy. Tino Martinez hit an RBI single to make it 1-0. Mario Duncan, he 3-0. I forgot how much of a home run hitter Mario Duncan is. But the Cardinals came back in the bottom of the third. Langford hit an RBI single to score Clayton. Ryan Jordan hit a fielder's choice to score Alcea. And then John Mabry somehow hits a home run down the right field line off of Pettit to make Mark Hudden come in to pitch. It was 5-3 for the longest time. And then Pagnozzi hit a home run and forced Rivera to come in the 6th inning. However, the 7th inning was huge. Gerald Williams hit an infield single. Joe Girardi made it 1st and 3rd. Ruben Rivera came in to pinch hit and hit an RBI single to score Gerald Williams. Jeter grounded a single to score Girardi, so it was 6-5. TJ Matthews came in, but Boggs hit a single to score Rivera. Williams hits the fielder's choice 1st and 3rd. Then Duncan singles to score Jeter, and then O'Neill hits a sac fly. So 8-6, just like that. John Wetland came in for his first save situation in the bottom of the 9th. Mark Sweeney came in to pinch hit for Honeycutt. He grounded out. Clayton singled. Alcea singled. 1st and 3rd. Gant hits the fielder's choice to score Clayton to make 8-7. Langford takes ball 4, and then Brian Jordan grounds out, and the New York Yankees are your champions. They went 8-7. Matthews kind of blew a save there, but yeah, Andy Benes, 6 innings. 5 pitchers for the Yankees. Pettit, Hudden, Rivera, Nelson came in for the first time, and then Wetland came in for the first time in the series. But yeah, Pettit sucked, but Mo Rivera, the hero, and John Wetland, the save. So I think that Mo Rivera practically was the hero. He knew how to save the day. And the New York Yankees take care of the St. Louis Cardinals and ruin St. Louis's pipe dream. Sorry, but that's how it's done. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.